Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of YLC Chats. I'm Kelly Cotter, a first year member of YLC, and today I'm joined with Holly. So, Holly, my first question is how you became involved with Best Buddies.
Okay, well, it starts a long time ago when I graduated from American University in Washington, D.C. I got an internship it was back in 1994, a long time ago. First job with Best Buddies. I got an internship with Special Olympics International in D.C. and got to meet a couple of people that worked for the Best Buddies organization, and it was tiny and new. And I was thrilled to get involved and got hired later that year and spent 6 years early on in my career working for Best Buddies, and then took lots of years off in between and did lots of other things, and just came back 4 years ago in a different role.
Perfect. And what is your current role within Best Buddies?
Currently, I am the director of leadership, the pillar, and that's for Best Buddies International. So I'm a headquarters staff, but I happen to be in a home office in New Jersey. And I'm currently an interim director for Best Buddies Living, which is our newest pillar for the four mission pillars.
And just what are some of the things that you do in your leadership position?
So in the two different roles, I do two different things, but they overlap quite a bit. So I would say for the leadership part that I oversee, the main program that we try to develop and nurture and grow is the ambassadors program, which is probably something everyone has heard of. It's been around a long time. So that's within leadership. I also work with the YLC. I consider that part of my leadership role, and it's one of my favorite parts. And in addition, I do a program with some other colleagues called Leadership Best Buddies, which is an internal leadership development program. So that's the leadership part. And then Best Buddies Living is an inclusive living program that I oversee, and we are developing new locations for Best Buddies Living to promote integrated living just the same way we have in our mission of inclusion. We want that to be a living option as well for people with and without IDD.
Right. And Holly, if you guys are watching and don't know, is a huge help for YLC and gives us a lot of support. So we're all big Holly fans.
Well, I'm a big YLC fan. I say it all the time. It's the best part of my job is being the liaison between you all and headquarters. It's just the best part. So the feelings are mutual.
So this kind of leads into our next question of what is your favorite thing about Best Buddies?
Right. I would say, based on what I talked about, loving the YLC, the reason I love working with YLC and one of my favorite things about my job is being able to, in any way, support and coach and hopefully be someone that can teach something to people who are either just starting in their career or want to pursue a career in the direction that I have. I've always appreciated having people that I looked up to, and to be a mentor to anyone that is so hardworking as the council is definitely my favorite role.
And why do you think the Best Buddies mission is so important?
Well, inclusion on every level is one of the most important things in the world. I'd say personally, I have a personal connection from my starting in my childhood because I have a brother with IDD. So that was just always understood as something I should pay attention to, learn about, and make the world better in that way. So I think that's probably what sort of directed my career path and how I landed here ultimately. So because that's what our whole mission is about, it totally is aligned with what I believe in.
Right. I totally agree. And so what are some changes you would like to see in our country in regards to inclusion?
Wow. I mean, if more of it in different layers of it, I think inclusion needs to be part of the regular, normal part of everyday life for everyone, and that's a very big goal, and that's a very, very challenging goal. But I would say having organizations like Best Buddies or organizations like a Special Olympics or any organization that promotes inclusion is the first line of defense in trying to make that a bigger part of our day-to-day culture. I would say it's a big, lofty goal, but we keep trying.
Totally.
Yeah.
And how has Best Buddies changed as a result of COVID? And what are
Mm,
some things that we're doing now as we're hopefully ending the pandemic?
right. We're definitely a lot further along, and I'm very encouraged. I would say, what we did and had to do within days of realizing what was going on was just shift gears. And if we were going to hold on to our programs, we needed to figure out a way to make them accessible without being in the same room. And I think every one of our pillars, every one of our programs immediately shifted gears, and we became a virtual organization really fast. That's not what we want to be, but we had to be. And I think I'm very impressed with my colleagues and how the organization was able to do it. I don't think we could sustain that. That's not who we are. We're people that want to be together, and inclusion is ideally together. But I think we did a great job at holding on, and we're evolving out of it. I think things are starting to become hybrid. I think things are going to lead us in a more physically together place as we go.
Yeah. I noticed that like even though so much changed because of the pandemic, a lot of the friendships and really the core mission of Best Buddies really stayed the same, which I really loved.
It did. It's nice to see that you can see the mission in action, and it doesn't have to be the way you think it was at all other times. It can really take different forms, and I think we definitely proved that we can do it.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Hmm.
And final question, what are
Hmm.
some goals for Best Buddies that you have in the future?
Goodness. That is a big one. Well, when it comes to the Best Buddies Living program, since it's so new and it's our newest pillar, and it's one that is the least known, our friendship program obviously is our house, sort of a household name. And I think the same thing goes for jobs and leadership. But I think because living is literally a couple of years old, and we're only kind of in a piloting phase, my goals very much revolve around replicating the program and the success we've seen in the Washington, D.C. location, and making that happen in lots of other markets. Our next program to open is actually in Miami, starting probably somewhere right before the new year. So we will have Best Buddies living in Miami, and I hope after that we'll have a bunch more in the coming years, other locations and other programs all around the country.
That's really soon, actually.
I know, right? I know. Tell me about it. Yes.
Well, that was my final question. Thank you guys
Excellent.
so much for watching, and thank you, Holly, for being a great guest. And we'll see you guys in the next
My,
video.
my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Soon. Bye.